All right, we've got exercise 9 here, and what we're trying to figure out is how to make a program to walk us through the process of studying for an exam. And it's just like exercise 8, where they want two decisions and two loops. So this is one interpretation of the solution. And I've got this program that I've written out for this problem up here. So also have a flowchart on the next page, but we'll go through the pseudocode first. So you're going to start by asking about procrastination, because we all do it and we love it until it's too late. And then I've got this call here to a module block of code that's declared above the main function just to validate for a correct entry. And I'll explain that in just a minute, but we've got a while loop here, and while the decision is not equal to no, and the time used is not equal to the total time, like we haven't run out of time, then it's going to keep asking, are you going to procrastinate? And then each time we have this decision, decision is declared as a string. This is that module I'm talking about where I'm calling it. So I don't have to keep writing out this long block of code multiple times inside of here. So, we validate that. When we don't want to procrastinate anymore, we go and say if time used is equal to total time, then we've run out of time. So we might get down to the wire and say, oh no, I want to study now, but now it's too late, so too bad. Oh well. Else, if it's not, like if we still have time and these match up, we haven't run out of time, we haven't studied the total number of chapters. If we haven't studied a chapter yet, like we procrastinated and we chose to procrastinate in the beginning, then we'll go this route. Let's get started. This will only be done the first time, only when we, chapters is equal to 0. And then we're going to increment chapters and time used by 1, and then it's going to tell us that we've studied, and it's going to ask us, are we going to keep studying? We've got a decision. We want to validate that that's a correct entry again. And so if we do have chapters under our belt and we're just moving on, we're going to use this else statement from now on. So it's going to say our outputs, are you going to keep studying, validate it, chapter used. In this probably should, in the program, it should be up in front of everything else. It should basically be here. And then we're going to validate. So if we decide to keep studying, great job, and we're going to do the, where's it at? We're going to do this loop again. Yeah, here we go. We're going to do this. We're going to stay inside the loop. If we choose not to study anymore, we're going to break out of the loop and output how much time we've used for study time and how many chapters we made it through. We're going to stop. And here's this little module here, this validate entry that we've called in our program. So while the decision doesn't equal any of those inputs, you can only enter yes or no. Decision and while return. So that's the way the pseudocode basically looks. Let's go over to the flowchart real fast. Let me start by showing you that little validate entry module. So I won't have to draw this out in the flowchart over and over and over again. It's just going to be this right here. So you can see how we started off. It's the same as the pseudocode. While the decision is not equal to no, like we're going to procrastinate, then we'll just do this infinite loop of procrastination. But if we want to actually start studying, then we've got time used is not equal to total time. So we haven't run out of time yet, otherwise you're screwed. But if we still have time, then remember we've got that. If you remember from the pseudocode, we have a decision, have you even gotten any chapters under your belt yet? If not, you're at 0 chapters, then let's get started. Chapter time used, validate entry to keep studying. And then if we do have chapters under our belt, sort of the same idea. Are you going to keep studying? Validate entry. And so now, are we going to keep studying? If it's not equal to no, then great job. Then we go all the way back up. While time used, we haven't run out of time and we haven't studied all the chapters, and we'll keep going. But if we say, no, I don't want to keep studying, I'll put too bad. I hope you still do good on the exam. And then we stop. This should not be here. I don't know what that is. And yeah, just kind of look this over, pause the video if you have to, really grasp it. I'm not going to go into too much detail with these, like, as further we get along in the book here, because it's just so much, and each video would be like 15 minutes or 20 minutes or however long. It's just going to get really confusing and frustrating. But let's see. I've actually coded out a program for this up here, and I'm going to show you. I've declared decision as a string, and we've got that little module here. And the way we do this, like how we call this block of code here, is we say void validate entry, and then this is what that validate entry is. It's a while loop, and it's only letting us enter yes or no, and it's keeping us in that loop unless we enter a yes or a no. And so that right there is what we're going to call. You can see the variables here. Total time, we only have 10 hours. Total chapters, 10. And so we've got our prompt here, and then you can see how I'm calling that validate entry right here. So I'm going to make sure that what you enter in here is going to be either a yes or a no. That's all of that is this. And so now we say, while decision is not equal to no, or total time used, are you going to procrastinate still? So we haven't run out of time, and we have time to still procrastinate if we want to. So I've got a decision. Now we're going to start adding time onto what we have left. So we're going to add an hour, basically increment by 1, make sure the entry is right. But if we hit a no, I'm not going to procrastinate anymore. Then if we've run out of time, too bad. If we haven't, then while the total time, or time used, is not equal to the total time, and chapter is not equal to total chapters, if we're just starting, then we've got this. And this will probably only run once. Otherwise, we're going to go to the else statement because we've got chapters under our belt. So from here on out, as long as we stay on the loop, this is only going to run once. And every time we accumulate chapters, it can't use this if, so we're going to automatically go from while to this else. Now I'm going to show you this real fast. I wanted this to be more realistic, so it says let's get started, and then it goes studying, press enter when finished. So you can sit there for an hour, study, and this cn.ignore parentheses semicolon and cn.get parentheses semicolon, that right there basically will stop the program from running further in until you hit the enter button, and then it will continue with this to tell you what's going on. Then it's going to ask you if you're going to keep studying, decision, that call to the little module up there, validate entry. And remember, else is probably what we're going to use for the most part because we've got chapters under our belt and this won't apply anymore. So it's going to be the same idea. And we've got a validate entry. Now after we exit this if else, we go into this here. If we decide to keep studying, great job, and then we'll go and run this loop again. We'll run through here again. We'll go while, else, then we'll ask again. So if you decide not to study anymore, too bad, and then it's going to break out of the loop and go here. And it's going to tell you how many hours have passed and how many chapters you've gone through. Return. So let's look at the pseudocode real fast again so you can pause it if you need to. And really just look at this, understand what's going on. I've noticed the more you do, the more you write code, the harder it is to actually communicate on an effective level. And what you start to say is like nonsense. You can't, it gets harder to communicate on a 5th grade level, which is always the best level to communicate on. Makes sense to everyone, but it gets harder when you start writing this. Your communication skills tank. So let's go ahead and run the code now, and the program, and check that out. Procrastinate. Maybe I don't understand the question and I type an 8. Oh, great, it works. Yes, I do want to procrastinate. Of course. No, I probably should study now. Okay, I've studied an hour. Cool. 1 chapter. You have 7 hours left and 9 chapters left. Now I don't understand English and I type a 6. Oh, that's right. Okay, I do want to keep going. Oh, 6 hours left, 2 chapters in. I have 8 chapters left. You know, I'm just not in the mood. I'm going to wing it, so no. Too bad. I hope you still do all right on the exam. 4 hours, and I made it through 2 chapters. I'm going to fail. So let's go ahead and see how, if I run it and I just keep procrastinating. Yes, 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 yes. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now something should be done about that. That should only have probably 10 and then it should end. But that's, save that for another time. Oh, I don't have time now. So I'll definitely fail that exam. If you decide to code this out yourself, just have fun with it and maybe make some alterations and see what everything does. But anyway, that's pretty much it for exercise 9. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.